have we reached a zone of excessive intolerance towards comments of this kind, or do several of these liberals just make it very fashionable to make the kind of comments which several people could find very problematic? Joining me on the Newstrack, representing the Trinamool Congress, it's Firebrand Member of Parliament, spokesperson Kaali Poster. Squaring off against her on the show, we've got Shazia Ilmi from the Bharatiya Janata Party. We've got Deepa Ishwar joining us. We've got Vaishnavi Prasad, a women's rights activist, and Andrea D'Souza as well. I want to go across to Kaali Poster first. Ma'am, Mahua Moitra, star Member of Parliament of the Trinamool Congress, has set off a political quake of sorts, and many, like Swara Bhaskar, like Shashi Tharoor, seem disappointed that the TMC isn't standing up for Mahua Moitra. Can you explain why Didi and the Trinamool have chosen to distance themselves from the comments made by Mahua Moitra, given the fact that it is a reality that in several temples, the kind of prasad that is given involves different forms of liquor, and it is not unreasonable or unnatural for this to happen? Mahua says, I was only stating a reality that meat is given as a prasad, liquor is given as a prasad. This is a reality of Hindu religion. Why is the TMC not backing me? Let's start from there. Kaali Poster.
You see, all Lok Sabha members are equal. Nobody is better or nobody is a star. We've all been elected by the people of India in Bengal. All Lok Sabha members are elected by some state or the other and the people. We have to keep in mind the sentiment of the people. And India believed in Sarva Dharma Samabhava till today. But today there is definitely a disturbance in this. When United States Commission of International Freedom believes that the country of particular concern. But here, as you are saying, that why we distance? Because it's a personal view. We believe, like I said, in Sarva Dharma Samabhava. And our leader, Mamata Banerjee, she takes part in all religious festivals of all sects, all people of Bengal, all the people of India. Our constitution says so. We cannot demean or down on any religion or any god or goddesses. Kaali is a revered goddess of Bengal, of India. We have a very sensitive sentiment towards Mother Goddess Kaali and Mother Goddess Durga. But I will like to point out and remind you that the Bharatiya Janata Party, Dilip Ghosh, in the same conclave 2 years back, questioned the birth of Durga, the advent of Durga, and questioned her father's name. Then nobody came forward and demanded his arrest. Today,
well, there was a lot of acrimony and a lot of questions asked after Dilip Ghosh made those comments. But I have another question for you. It's being asked of Mamata Banerjee and of the Trinamool that they act against Mahua Moitra, that you sack your Member of Parliament. Is any kind of disciplinary action likely against your MP?
It is for the disciplinary action committee to decide. It is for the party to decide, not for me to answer on the media. But the party...
But is that being looked at? Are you assessing whether disciplinary action should be taken against Mahua Moitra?
Party might be thinking, no, I cannot comment just now, but the party doesn't approve the comment. It is her personal opinion, and whatever she has said, you can question her, but we don't subscribe to her view, and we revere Mother Goddess Kaali and Mother Goddess Durga, so we do not support her idea.
Shazia Ilmi, the Trinamool saying, we've distanced ourselves from our MP's comments. Those are made in her personal capacity, and clearly not accepting that there is any reason to act immediately, saying she's made her views, we don't agree. Several times when the BJP leaders say things which the party doesn't agree with, doesn't mean that any action needs to be taken against Mahua.
Well, Mahua Moitra might think she's really cool, but the issue is that she is becoming too hot to handle even by her own party. And the fact is that she has become a serial offender. I mean, she says things like Choti Wala Rakshas to Giriraj ji. So she says things like Susu Poti Republic about Bharat. When she wants to talk about BJP, she says things like, take Gomutra shots. So there is constant, disparaging of the cultural values of India, people who believe in Hinduism, and there is that Hindu dvesh, there is, and she is far too cool, you see, to be part of this world, so to speak. And I think, as I could hear from Kakoli ji, that is really becoming difficult, and these comments of Mahua are becoming untenable and defensible, even for her own party. But the fact of the matter is that she was shown a poster in which Goddess Kaali is shown a particular way, and she is smoking, so to speak. And so it's all right really for the liberal world, and I come from a film school where this is really all right. And I want to ask Kakuli ji, is it all right for them just to distance themselves? Because this was not the mood when people in my party were just to distance themselves from Nupur and her comments. Even now, the idea is not just to arrest her, but to
okay, let Kakoli respond to that. The opposition parties asked for action against Nupur Sharma for offending Muslim sentiment. The BJP says, shouldn't similar demands be made against Mahua Moitra?
Such open disrespect is being shown,
Kakoli,
which is hurting people's sentiments. They're just not Muslims, they're Hindus, that's the only difference.
I don't know whether you noted it, that in the same conclave 2-3 years back, Bharatiya Janata Party leader Dilip Ghosh questioned the birth of...
outrage will not help, Kakoli ji. We're talking about now. Nupur's incident happened now, and Mahua Moitra is who we're discussing. No, don't go all over the place. I don't know what Dilip Ghosh did. I don't know whether they were Bangladesh.
Okay, Shazia, I can't run a debate like this. You've had your say. You made a point. Let Kakoli respond.
I said that in a prior conclave of the same house, Dilip Ghosh, the leader of Bharatiya Janata Party, questioned the birth of Durga.
Okay, you're repeating yourself. You made that point previously. I want to go across and get a comment from Vaishnavi Prasad. Now, the point that Shazia makes is Mahua Moitra trying too hard to be cool, to be liberal, to make it seem as if it's okay to mock Hindu gods and goddesses? Wouldn't do this with the Prophet Muhammad, but doesn't see anything wrong with mocking Hindu gods, and therefore the likes of Shazia, many in the BJP, others who support that cause say, why do this? It may be true, but do you really need to poke somebody's eye? Is that even the right thing to do? Vaishnavi Prasad.
Look, Rahul, I mean, it's a world where we have free speech. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a point of view. Everybody has some sort of interpretation. And when it comes down to religion, I think the reality is that religion has evolved over so many years in such a way that everyone is free to interpret the religion in a way that it gives them hope and creates a place of safeness and sort of sanctity for them, which is why you see so many subsects and so many different interpretations of a single religion. Kaali herself, even though she is most prominent in Bengal, is not exclusive to Bengal. She belongs to South India. She's there in Andhra Pradesh. She's there in Madhya Pradesh. She's everywhere, and everywhere you have different interpretations of Kaali. So what one person takes offense to might just be an artistic expression for another person. Coming to the aspect of this not happening in other religions, I call complete bullshit on that, because this kind of artistic representation, or if you want to call it misrepresentation, where people have taken offense and it has become a big deal, has happened in almost all major religions. I have made a note of this. I can even bring up a few examples. If everybody remembers the Charlie Hebdo incident where they did cartoons about Prophet Muhammad, a lesser known incident in India is the one of the Piss Christ, which was a piece of art done where there was a sculpture of Christ behind a layer of urine, and this the entire Catholic community took offense to. So it's not like this doesn't happen in other religions. It does happen. We are only focusing on what is happening here. And
let me put that question to Deepa Ishwar. Deepa, it is a reality that in several temples, and I have a full list over here, if I read it out, somebody may find it offensive, so I'll just say it very generally, that alcohol, pegs of different forms of intoxication are given at multiple temples, and this is in Gujarat, it's in Odisha, it's in Uttar Pradesh, it's in Madhya Pradesh, it's also in Delhi. This is a reality. Therefore, the likes of Mahua Moitra will say, what wrong did I do? I stated reality. There are different forms of interpreting Ma Kaali. This is my form. If you don't like it, I mean, what can I do? You don't like it, doesn't take away my right to say what I want. Deepa Ishwar.
Absolutely. I think that was so irresponsible of someone at her stature to say that, because she can use her figment of imagination within the four walls of a house, but she is a public personality. She's there because she's a representative of the public, and it was absolutely irresponsible. I think there are no two thoughts about it. Her own party has condemned her, so that's very clear that, you know, that was something that she regrets right now. I think that is very clear, and we all agree on that. Now, about
no, but she's not agreeing on it. She's not apologizing for her comment. She says, I'm stating a fact that alcohol and meat are offered to our gods and goddesses in different parts of the country. You may not like the way she said it, is a reality of Indian society and of the Hindu religion. There's no going away. It happened today, it happened yesterday, it's been happening for time immemorial.
No, so Rahulji, what I want to say on that point is that, you know, we have, see, Hinduism is it's a way of life, it's very diverse, we have different interpretations of gods, we have different ways of performing pujas in different temples, but that doesn't give anyone the right to say whatever they want out there in the public about our gods. It doesn't give anyone the right to have a poster of Ma Kaali with, you know, smoking and having an LGBTQ flag in her hand. Now, that is definitely not something that comes as part of any religious, you know, traditions that we follow in any temple. So the matter is not about diverse practices followed. This is a very specific provocation towards the Hindu community. So that this is just a reason they're finding to justify it, saying that, oh, you guys do it already. What? We've never interpreted Ma Kaali or any of our goddesses to be holding an LGBTQ flag in their hands. No offense meant to that community, but it's definitely offensive to, you know, portray any god for that matter, be it, you know, pure Holy Mother Mary or Hazrat Aisha or Ma Kaali. It is absolutely irresponsible.
And Andrea D'Souza, the fact is, when cartoons were made of the Prophet Muhammad, there were killings. There's no justification for it. But the argument made by the likes of Deepa Ishwar is that people are sensitive to other religions. Whether it is Islam or Christianity, nobody's unnecessarily going and poking their nose, poking their hand into somebody's eye. They're generally sensitive that somebody may feel bad, somebody may be offended, but somehow when it comes to Hindu gods and goddesses, you take liberty because you know that Hindus are secular, you know that Hindus are more liberal, and therefore you don't necessarily draw a line and restrain yourself.
I don't think so. I don't think so. We are any more liberal. We are not even tolerant. We liberal to dur ki baat hai, we are not even tolerant. Our country, first of all, I do not know where our country is heading. Our country seems to be just getting pushed in the dark hole of bigotry and hatred completely right now. Okay, coming back to what you were saying, that people have posters. What Deepa just said, the poster is completely not acceptable. Yes, I agree, not acceptable. But then there are posters of Shivji having smoking. Is that acceptable? There are posters of Shivji merged with Sushant Singh. Is that acceptable? I mean, how that time nobody says a word. Why is now today Mahua all of a sudden attacked when she is actually stating, can I speak please? Can I speak please, and then you speak?
Deepa, let us speak and conclude, and I'll come back to you
Rahul,
for a rebuttal.
Let me finish. Yeah. When Mahua stated the fact, that is her way of worship. I do not think anyone has the right, I do not think any right-wingers have the right. They are not proprietors of Hinduism, so they do not have any right to say, you cannot say this, you cannot say this. That's her way of worship. There are places as you yourself claim, there are places where alcohol is served as prasad to the goddess and goddesses. So what's wrong? What wrong did she say? And if you say, what wrong did Nupur say? Nupur stated again. Nupur stated something which was not the fact. So there are two different things. What is not the fact, and here Mahua stated the fact. That is the only difference.
Deepa wants to counter that. this sense that we are becoming like a Pakistan or an Afghanistan, where any form of comment on religion can lead to somebody feeling offended, somebody ending up in jail, that we basically become a new Talibanistan or a Pakistan where everything is found offensive and people are lynched, killed or murdered.
No, so just to respond to what she was saying, so
I totally agree with Deepa.
Yeah. So just because something, just because something, we've been tolerating something in the past, okay, when you guys didn't have a problem when it happened then, so we should not have a problem about something happening now. I do not understand the logic there. So if something crosses the line or something is really irritating, we do speak out for it, and just because something has been happening since 1860s, we cannot keep tolerating it. So that's a very lame argument. Secondly, you were saying that what Nupur Sharma said was a wrong fact. So it's rightful enough to feel bad about that. And whatever you guys are talking about, the Kaali poster is full of facts. So what is the fact regarding Ma Kaali holding an LGBTQ flag? Can you please enlighten us on this panel? Can you?
No, she's talking about the reality of offerings of prasad in the form of alcohol or in the form of meat. That is the reality, not just in West Bengal, in different parts of the country, Deepa.
No, I want to come in. I'm sorry. I think actually you should allow me to come in, Rahul.
Okay, let Shazia speak.
Yeah. So, Rahul, two things here. First of all, Mahua spoke in the context of the poster. Looking at the poster, she said there are different ways to practice religion. And then she spoke about, after all, Ma Kaali is, to me, and I don't know whether she's talking only about herself, is. So Ma Kaali for many others is not just a meat accepting and alcohol accepting goddess, but she represents many things. And in fact, I know all about Ma Kaali, but I've never really thought of her as an alcohol accepting and meat eating goddess. So she was in a way defending the poster, which shows her in a certain way. So let's not get carried away. And Andrea, the preceding speaker, is talking about
what really defend the poster. She said nothing about the poster. She's just telling you her interpretation of Ma Kaali.
But the entire conversation began in reference to the poster. The reference to context was the poster.
Sure, the question was about the poster.
It was in your own conclave.
I was there in the auditorium when it happened.
Let's not, exactly. So even we all saw it, so let's not pretend.
Okay, I want to go across to Jayanto Ghoshal. Jayanto was with us.
No, I have to finish saying. The other activist here was talking about what have we come to. Let me tell this lady that it's not something we have come to. It has always been like this. When Taslima Nasreen wrote this, she was booed. When she went to Hyderabad, Owaisi and his men rubbed dirt and filth and fecal matter on her face. This happened some 20 years back. So this is nothing new, ma'am. And on the Shah Bano case, Arif Mohammad Khan Sahab sir was almost killed 3 times. So this is nothing new. If you're trying to say right wing, that's one. And according to Nupur Sharma, I will not defend it. I'm a practicing Muslim. And I have a huge problem with what Nupur said. According to her, she was quoting Sahih Bukhari, which even Zakir Naik has done, which is exactly the same as what Nupur said.
She was quoting,
so you're way off. Andrea, you have not done your homework. You don't know. In your limited understanding of left, right and being...
I have very much done my homework.
Okay, Andrea, you can't speak when Shazia is speaking. I can't run a debate in this fashion, but I want to go across now to Jayanto Ghoshal, who was with us at the India Today Conclave East in Kolkata yesterday. Jayanto, you understand the internal workings of Trinamool better than most. Tell me what happened after. I know for a fact that Didi was mighty upset with Mahua. I know that Mahua has now unfollowed the Trinamool. How deep trouble is Mahua in? What happened after that conference? What's the internal thinking in the Chief Minister's mind and in Trinamool on this? Jayanto.
Rahul, actually, I was the witness of the event, and I'm telling you, this is not at all a theological debate, or it's not an academic issue. Actually, it was a very politically, what Mahua did, the content of Mahua's discussion, what she said about her approach and on the Ma Kaali, that is one thing. But I talked to Mahua also after the event also. She said that I don't know the director, I am not supporting the poster, even I am not supporting the smoking Kaali, that picture. But what I said, that Mahua told the TMC leadership also internally that she is saying the inclusivist approach of the Hinduism. There are different. Kali and Durga also same. And in the Vairo Mandir in the Kashi, you cannot get entry to the Vishwanath Mandir because that is the main, Vairo, Kal Vairav is the main Senapati. And so this, she tried to say that. But what the mistake was, that what Mamta's approach, what was the difference? Mamta is saying that the academic discourse is one thing, but for the mass, you cannot explain all these nitty-gritties of Hinduism, like the Brahma. There are a lot of controversies on the Brahma's role, why there is no temple of Brahma. But you know, if you go into that nitty-gritties in the political life, then the mass perception, because Mamta is also a strong devotee, she worships Ma Kali at her home, and in Bengal, Ma Kali is the best form of Ma Durga also, the Chandi, and Durga Puja is coming. So if BJP, when BJP is trying to make Mahua as another Nupur Sharma to counter politics, it's a BJP's politics, BJP is doing BJP's politics. Mamta is careful. Mamta thought that what Mahua said, maybe what is the academic, the content, that's a different thing. That is from Radhakrishnan to Shashi Tharoor, everyone is wrote books on Hinduism. But it's not the issue of the academic issue. But if it hurts, and Suvendu Adhikari is now demanding the arrest, FIR made, so you have to be careful. That's why they
is Mamta planning to act against Mahua Moitra?
Immediately, because it's a very sensitive issue.
Jayanto, is she planning any action?
Sorry?
Or is Mamta Banerjee planning any action against her MP, or do you think the public rebuke is where it stops?
You know, what TMC's advisory to Mahua Moitra is that don't make any follow-up statement or anything. Now it will depend on Mahua's future behavior, because if it aggravates the political polarization, it's not religious polarization actually, it's more political polarization of BJP and TMC, because you know that 70% is Hindu vote in Bengal, 30% is Muslim, and BJP's strategy is to make Mamta Banerjee as a jihadi government, as Suvendu said.
Do you accept that, Kakoli Ghosh Dastidar, that Mahua's intemperate comments have put the TMC in an awkward spot politically? The BJP was down and out after the assembly election results, deeply fractured, faction-ridden, unable to bounce back. Mahua Moitra's got Suvendu out in the streets, BJP leaders marching in unison, and the Trinamool now finds itself on the back foot.
Now, if you quote Suvendu Adhikari, let me tell you that it has been proven that when the Kashmiri Pandits were looking for security, Bharatiya Janata Party failed them. And about the killings in Udaipur and other places, it has been proven that these people, the killers, have connection with the IT cell of Bharatiya Janata Party. So this is for Suvendu Adhikari's comment. But
you will say anything. You will say anything. You are no better than Mahua. Unbridled, you will just say anything to suit your purpose. It's shocking. You're saying that BJP's IT cell, please take it back, ma'am. Please take it back immediately. I take umbrage and out at this point what you said. You are saying BJP IT cell has something to do with ISIS. Did you just say that? Kakoli ji, did you just say that? Did you just say something as insane as that? Did you just say something like that? No, I want to ask you. I want to ask you. What rubbish? What rubbish is this?
Rahul,
what is wrong with you? I will not have you talk nonsense.
Rahul, don't bring such...
I will not have you talk nonsense, Kakoli.
Okay, can everyone just calm down? Political tempers in any case running high. I don't want anyone abusing...
If I accuse you,
I don't want anybody abusing each other on national television. We're trying to ensure that tempers stay calm in our society, out on the ground. Since you've leveled a charge, Kakoli Ghosh Dastidar, Shazia Ilmi taking offense, do you want to respond to that before I proceed and carry on with my debate, Kakoli?
See, it is not meant to harm. This is fact. That it has been proven. It is on record that the person who has been involved has been stated to be a part of the IG cell. That is on record. Not what I am making up. It is blasphemous to insult any religion. And why haven't they yet arrested Nupur Sharma or Kapil Mishra is my question.
Okay,
Why have
let Shazia respond to that. Why have you not
Rahul, this is
arrested Kapil
outrageous.
Mishra or
This is outrageous.
Nupur
He
Sharma?
also-
Kakoli, now let
Rahul,
Shazia
this is
respond.
outrageous. Rahul, this is outrageous. You just heard, you as an anchor heard Kakoli say something which is worse than any abusive language. She accused BJP IT cell of being connected with ISIS. You kept quiet. When I screamed at her and asked her for an explanation and substantiation of the same, you cut my volume down and you said don't abuse anybody.
Listen
How dare you remain quiet? This is worse than any abuse.
You look at Shubhendu Adhikari's speech.
He stopped lying to
He
your
has
team.
things, not me. I am
You
quoting
are
Shubhendu
much worse
Adhikari.
than Mahua, and your party will go down for this. I mean, this is disgusting what you're doing. And you are connecting BJP IT cell with ISIS.
How many said Shubhendu Adhikari?
I really think, you know, this game that you played, the game that you're playing is such a sinister one.
You
it's like you really, there is no place for any scruples, any morality, forget truth.
Okay,
But you know, you don't care for
all
Muslims,
that
you
thought. I
don't
want to
care
show
for
you what
Hindus,
happened
forget Hindu
out
God.
on the streets in Kolkata today. Mahua Moitra's comments on Ma Kaali has triggered very strong reactions, as you're seeing on the show, and we saw all day long. Her own party colleagues who attended India Today's Conclave East had different views on the issue of the Kaali poster. India Today's news break seems to be getting bigger with the passing hour.
Kaali to me is a meat-eating, alcohol accepting goddess.
India Today news break triggers a national debate. TMC MP Mahua Moitra's comments on the Kaali poster sparked a political slugfest.
Kaali to me is a meat-eating, alcohol accepting goddess. To me, that is a version of Kaali. And if you go to Tarapet and around all of them, you have all the sadhus smoking, all of that. That is the version of Kaali that people worship. So I think within Hinduism, being a Kaali worshipper, have the freedom to imagine my Kaali in that way.
Mahua Moitra's own party has now distanced itself from her remarks and condemned it. Mahua's party colleagues too have opposing views to her on whether the poster of filmmaker Leena Manimekalai's movie Kaali is disrespectful.
Creatively, if you're coming up with something, like I said, we are our own actions. I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong or right, because that you decide at the end of the day. What is wrong for me can be right for you. Take responsibility of your own actions and move ahead.
The essence of the constitution is a secular India. Then, like in an Islamic state, you cannot do anything which is going against that dharam. This is not a Hindu Rashtra. This is not a Hindu Rashtra, but we have majority Hindus. We have minorities as well. So there has to be a balance. When you get freedom of speech, it does not make you free. Rather, it should make you more responsible.
With heat mounting on her, Mahua came out with a clarification and claimed that she did not lend support to any film or poster. Mahua's comments have given the BJP the ammunition to target the TMC.
That they basically hate the Hindu ethos, Hindu culture in this country. The statement that has come from one of TMC MPs in which she denigrates Ma Kaali is not unexpected, because in this country secularism and freedom of speech is all about insulting Hindus and Hindu deities.
नहीं, देखिए, जो जिस प्रकार जिसका लाइफस्टाइल है वो ऐसा ही देखता है, अल्कोहल देखता है, सिगरेट देखता है, लेकिन जो काली का पूजा करते हैं उनको एक भगवान का रूप मानकर श्रद्धा के साथ पूजा करते हैं. इनकी किसी प्रकार की अधिकार नहीं है ऐसे लोगों का भावनाओं को ठेस पहुंचाने के लिए.
Other parties too rallied against Mahua's comments. Shiv Sena MP Priyanka Chaturvedi said freedom of expression cannot be used as a tool to offend. The Congress said all gods must be respected.
सारे देवी देवताओं का सम्मान होना चाहिए. किसी भी देवी देवता पर अभद्र टिप्पणी मैं और मेरी पार्टी कतई बर्दाश्त नहीं करेगी.
Mahua Moitra's remarks on Kaali have certainly put her in a spot. But will the TMC take any action against the firebrand MP? the call will be taken by Mamata Banerjee. Bureau Report, India Today.
Joining me now live on the Newstrack is India Today Northeast editor Kaushik Deka. He's the moderator at that session. Kaushik, you got Mahua Moitra into quite a bit of trouble. You've been speaking to her post. What are you picking up? A, give us a sense of what is happening on the session, your reflections as that session went by. You're clearly in the news as a moderator, having lit quite this fire. Mahua and the TMC having to deal with it, but as a session, huge virality on social media here.
Yeah, I didn't expect this, and as you know, I was moderating it on a last moment change. The question was relevant because it was that poster was also viral, and because we were in Bengal, and you know, in Bengal, Goddess Kaali is worshipped and one of the main deities. So I asked her the question, and what she had said was her interpretation of Goddess Kaali, and as a proof, she was also referring to a temple in Bengal. But I didn't expect at that moment that it will go so viral and it will put her in so much trouble. Perhaps I have spoken to her after that also. I can't reveal everything because certain conversations were in private. But what I get a sense is that she is sticking to her stand. She is not changing her stand, and she is not even apologetic about it. What she has maintained all through is that she is stating a fact. She is not insulting any god, and she is also repeatedly saying that she didn't comment on the poster, whether the poster is right or wrong, whether it's about freedom of expression or not. She was not bothered about that. What she was more interested was that her interpretation of Goddess Kaali, and in that she says that Goddess Kaali accepts alcohol or meat, and she also referred to certain states and temples where it is accepted. And at the same time, if you remember, she also said that if you say the same thing in Uttar Pradesh, people will call it blasphemy. Now, not only in Uttar Pradesh, the entire country is actually up against her. So, unwittingly, I probably have put her in a spot.
It's not your fault. I mean, she went out and said what you did. You asked a perfectly legitimate question. The same question was posed to many others who handled it far more deftly than Mahua did. She and the thing is, she stands by her comments. Yeah, she stands by her comments, not going back on them and thinking that this is her interpretation of Ma Kaali, which others have found offensive. Kaushik Deka, thank you.